Oh my goodness, we're live. Time to share, like, share, and subscribe. That's what everybody wants to do. Gotta let the kits know. There we go. Oh, I've got a stream. I've got somebody watching my stream already. I feel so popular. Now you're gone. Tonight's stream is brought to you by Jordan Harbor Pale Ale by Bench Brewery. Is it brought to you by them? No, it's not. It's also brought to you by my new microphone, which hopefully is sounding nice. Tonight, we are going to talk about something very, very actually kind of useful. It's not going to be making fun of paper launches, nor is it going to be, doing anything other than talking about used GPUs. All right. And this is actually quite an interesting topic because the GPU market is getting a little bit more friendly to people looking to purchase. Can't really comment too much on the States. I know you guys have had quite a few Best Buy drops in the States, and pretty big ones too, that were relatively easy for people to pick up GPUs, especially Founders Edition NVIDIA ones, which is nice because they're like the cheapest NVIDIA GPUs out there. AMD has been having some pretty regular drops as well. A lot of people from the AMD store have been reporting success, like actual people, not like bots or cook groups, although they're probably still getting stuff too. But it seems like more people are starting to get their hands on GPUs. It seems like the scalping is maybe calming or beginning to calm. It's still going crazy, but we do have the end of mining coming up. Or supposedly. A lot of people have a lot of opinions on that, and I'm not really going to dive into that. But there is a huge supply of GPUs that are going to be hitting the market in the coming months. Let's say anytime between now and August, say. And this stream right now is just going to be about what my little tips on what to look for and what really is a good buy and what's not a good buy, and what sort of sales you should just say goodbye to. And yeah, we're just going to talk about that. So nowadays there's really, only 2 GPU makers out there. I know Intel's got something coming, but most likely it'll be late in a hot pile of garbage. Sorry, Intel, but those be the facts. AMD's been killing it, and they got some new stuff coming up, and NVIDIA's been killing it, and they've got some new stuff coming up. And so we're going to talk about used stuff, though, coming. So once these miners and the FOMO folks all try and unload their stuff on Kijiji and Craigslist and eBay and all that. Oh, and Virgo, hello. So once that happens, okay, I'm going to preface this. Do not ever pay over MSRP for a used GPU or a new GPU for that matter. All right. And I'm going to talk first about sellers. All right. So if you're looking to sell GPUs, probably the GPUs you are going to have an easy time selling for the same price you bought them for is going to be Founders Edition ones, whether it's NVIDIA Founders Edition or AMD ones direct from AMD. Those ones obviously have very low prices. $500 3090s, I know, right? Eventually they'll be $500. Don't you worry. That's when the next gen releases. It's going to be $500. That's what Moore's Law told me. Yeah. Nice. MSRP trades. Yeah. You got to watch out for like sort of pre-scalped cards as well, because some manufacturers have just been selling cards at like absolute ridiculous prices. Like, and I think a good gauge for what price the GPUs should be is use the manufacturer. So go to Nvidia and uh, look at their Founders Edition prices. All right, and then use those as a comparison for what other cards are, whether they be whether they're AIB cards or whatnot. I would go also to the AMD website. Now, this is going to be a real pain in the butt for anyone trying to unload an AIB AMD card, but seriously, AIB AMD cards are the worst value thing out there in the world today. Like, they are just like, was it, I think like in Canada it's like $1,200 for a 6700 XT from, I don't know, Newegg or Canada Computers or something, and like, that's ridiculous. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And they shouldn't be anything more than like, I don't know, maybe like 700. But yeah. Oh yeah. Well, 6900 XTs. Yeah, I know. Poor guys. 6900 XTs. They're actually a little bit like, as far as like percentage wise, you can find AIB ones that are like percentage wise somewhat close. Yeah, Memex is pretty good. They have actually decent prices overall. But just like straight up from, yeah, MSI and Gigabyte have like the worst AIB prices for AMD cards this gen easily. And they don't have the best prices either for AIB NVIDIA ones either. And maybe somebody's wondering, like, what is AIB? It's add-in board partners, I believe that's what it is. I'm not even sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And it just means like aftermarket cards, different designs on the GPUs that the suppliers, NVIDIA or AMD, supply these different brands. So overall, you're not going to find a lot of performance difference, from one brand to another. So I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to talk about those we should not name. Zotac. But I'm going to talk more from the point of price. So if you're selling your reference cards is going to probably be the easiest at MSRP, because already there's a price advantage, right, over other cards. So if you're trying to sell your, I don't know, 3090, say, your 3090 FE card in Canada from Best Buy is going to be $2,050 plus tax, and your Toronto Mans, I would add you in as a co-host, but I really have no idea how. I'm so new to this. But like, I would say the reference cards are the easiest as far as like selling at that price, because you're not going to see any 3090s out there for $2,050 ever. Like, they're all like, I think like the cheapest I saw was like maybe early on in like I would say like late 2020, early 2021. You saw like some for like 2100, 2200. I think there was like some Zotacs that were floating around in Canada Computers, but like, yeah, you put up your 6700 XT for 850. Yeah, and you know what, the Gigabyte one. Now it's good that you sold it before my video, because like once all like 10 people that are going to see this video see it, it's going to be harder, because as a seller, yeah, AI or reference cards are going to be the easiest to sell for what you paid for. Other ones, as they go up in price, they don't really present the same value. They don't really present the same draw, so to say. Thanks. Hey, how's it going? Nice. Good to see you guys here. So, yeah, if you're selling, AIB or reference cards are probably going to be the easiest. Yeah, selling cards is a pain because people are crazy and they're used to dealing with scalpers. And I'm saying, like, don't be a scalper, right? be better than that. Okay. So I'm going to say, as a seller, probably the easiest card for you to sell is going to be FE cards. Now, as a buyer, should you buy FE cards? I would say no, because buying an FE card from someone you don't know is a bad idea, in my opinion, because the warranty is not transferable. So especially if it's like a higher end one, like if you're buying like a 3060 Ti or like a 6700 XT, it's like, all right, maybe it's a lot less of a risk. But I would definitely not buy a 3090 Founders Edition from someone you don't know. And that's why, like, for me, if I'm going to sell like a Founders Edition card or an AMD one, I'm going to sell it to somebody that I have no problem with helping out if it comes to warranty. And I don't know if I'm going to recommend that. I'm not sure if there's any sort of legal implications of like helping someone out with the warranty that's only entitled to you, the original owner. So I'm going to say, don't do that. Don't do it. But, you know, are you allowed to say the H word? Hello? Yes, you're allowed to say hello. You can also say yo if you want to sound cool for the kids. I do it because, you know, I like to yeet with the youth these days. I don't know what that means. But so if you're buying a card, okay, selling, I think selling is pretty straightforward. Just sell for what you paid for. Don't be a dingus and try and, you know, rip people off, especially if you've been using the card, and especially if you can't transfer that warranty onto the person who you're selling it to. That's just a real douche move, in my opinion. No, don't use the H word. No. No, it's all right. But so like, if you're selling, right, to me, I would only sell FE cards to somebody I know, and I'm happy to help out if there's ever, you know, usually it's like, you know, the guys on the Discord, you know, like you guys, I'd help any one of you guys out, you know, if you bought a card from me. And I know there's other guys on the Discord who would have no problem helping you out as well. That's sort of the culture that we have there, right? Of helping each other out and, you know, lending a hand. So I wouldn't be surprised, or I wouldn't be so adverse to buying from somebody in the Discord, especially at one of the regulars. I know like a lot of you guys are the regulars, and it's like a lot of you guys are like, I find more or less trustworthy. You know, that Nav guy, he's pretty sketchy, but you know, it's all right. But the thing now for a buyer, all right, if you're buying a card, what happened to the Discord? We're gonna keep doing streams. We're gonna keep hanging out and making puns, man. The puns don't end, even if things go back to normal, right? Nice pizza. So, if you're buying, okay, and I think this is the trickiest part, is if you're buying a used GPU, and I think a lot of people who are going to use or fall for the clickbaity title and click on this, and if you're buying a used GPU, this is important. And maybe I should have led with this because most of you have probably stopped watching. But that's your fault for not being patient, so you're going to get screwed over. So if you're buying a card, number one, assume it's been mined on. All right, just straight up assume. Don't even ask the person. Just assume they've been mining that card the entire time they've bought it. I'm getting there in Virgo. All right, bro. I'm getting there. Stop ruining my flow here. All right, I'm gonna get there. Don't you worry. All right. So I would say, number one, assume your card has been mined on. If you're buying a used card, especially nowadays, it's been mined on. All right, the guy can say, "Oh, I've only lightly gamed on it. You know, I've never mined on." No. As soon as they say "never mind on," automatically, I wouldn't trust them to help you with warranty. All right, that's like a red flag right there for me. Right? If I'm buying from someone, they're like, "Yeah, I've never mined on it," and it's like, yeah, I don't care if it's LHR. I don't care if it's one of those restricted cards. Whatever, it has been mined on. All right, just assume that. All right. Now, what do you need to worry about if it's been mined on? Well, for most of the cards, not that much. Like some of them, it's, just really the fans. Only fans is what you have to worry about on it. All right. And the fans, does mining affect warranty? Yes and no. I would say yes if you tell them you've been mining on it. No, because there's no way for them to prove you've been mining on it. Like, I would say this. If you look in the warranty, almost none of these warranties had to drop it, right? Okay. Yeah, exactly. More red flags than Stalin in 43 for sure. But yeah, pad swaps are a sign. But again, pad swaps aren't necessarily a bad thing. I would say pad swaps are maybe a sign that this person actually cared about the card, to some degree, right? If you don't see pad swaps, but we'll get to that. Don't you worry, Ampere. We'll get to that. But right now, assume it's been mined on. And mining and warranty, okay, I have yet to see any sort of warranty. And again, I haven't researched a ton. I've read through some warranties, mostly the warranties of the cards that I've bought. And none of the warranties I've read say anything about running simulation workloads, nothing about running scientific AI calculation workloads. You know, I cannot imagine a single GPU manufacturer out there nailing you for running folding at home. Like, for crying out loud, EVGA has a folding at home team. All right. And folding is basically the same thing as mining, in the sense of like how the GPU is stressed, right? So you're stressing the GPU 24/7 and you're running the fans really high. And if anything, actually folding, if it's more GPU core intensive, will actually be worse for your GPU as far as heating up your power components and all that, right? Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with a mine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a mined card. The only thing you really have to worry about with most mined cards, and I'm going to say with most because there's a second part to that. The only thing you have to worry about with most mined cards is the fans, because the fans have been running 24/7 since the person bought it, and you have to assume that. All right. And the fans are actually, yeah, exactly. Use your card to help COVID research. It's like you say that to them and they're like, oh, okay. That's why your fans are bad. And now obviously I wouldn't advocate lying. Don't lie. It's bad. All right. But, running a in GPU intensive workload like folding at home and mining are very similar in what they do to the card overall. Right. And so I don't think it's really fair anyways of GPU manufacturers to say, like, you're not allowed to return that because you mined on it. And it's like, well, what if I folded on it? Oh, well, then you're a hero and you help humanity. All right. And so they're not going to know if you don't tell them. And you don't have to tell them that you mined on it. There's nothing, in there unless they ask you outright. And then I would say it's a tricky thing. It's more of a moral question for you whether you want to lie to them or not. And I would say don't lie. Lying is bad. But if you buy a GPU that was mined on, all right, the only thing you really have to worry about is the fans, and the fans are cheap, relatively easy to find, and quick and easy to replace, usually, and they're not terrible to replace either. So that's one thing to consider. All right. Well, depending on some models, probably the fans are not that easy to replace, and but yeah, lying is bad. Don't do it. So replacing the fans is probably the number one thing that you're going to have to worry about. What components fail due to mining? Only fans. Exactly. Now, the second part of that is I want to be forthcoming in the fact that you have to worry about memory on some cards. All right. I'm thinking mostly 3070 Ti, 3080, 12 gigabyte, 3080 Ti, 3090s, and you don't really have to worry about 3090 Ti's because they don't exist. And I would say maybe AMD reference 6700 XTs. All right. All of those except for the 6700 XT is GDDR6X. Yeah. And you should be concerned about GDDR6X memory temp because almost no card out there, the manufacturers built it to withstand mining temperatures, and mining is strenuous on your memory. Now, GDDR6 is not too bad, doesn't get super hot. You're usually running it, it's probably sitting, I don't know, I've seen some of mine, they're around, I don't know, 50, 60 Celsius, somewhere around there, which isn't bad at all. But GDDR6X, if you're not repadding your GPU, if you're not, putting some extra cooling on the back plate, or something like that, or a water block on it, you're going to have really hot GDDR6X, and that is going to be bad, and it is going to kill them. So if you are buying a card with GDDR6X, I would make extra sure that warranty is transferable. I would not buy a GDDR6X card without having warranty. That's my opinion. I would never do that. I just think it's too much of a risk, especially if some, buddies out there and they're like just ramming their GPU to the max, and they're like throttling their memory because it's getting so hot. They're running at like 110 Celsius 24/7, and so like I would definitely be very worried about buying a used, especially like a used Founders Edition from somebody you don't know, 3090, 3080, 3070 Ti, 3080 Ti. I'd be very concerned buying those from someone you don't know, because who knows how much that memory's been cooked. And to me, it's a risky thing. All right. And somebody might, weigh in and be like, oh, that's not a problem, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I would not spend a large amount of money. I would not pay MSRP for a used FE card with GDDR6 in memory, ever. Just never. Unless it's from like a family member or somebody I know and somebody I can trust to help me out if there's some. I honestly have no idea what the signs are that it's cooked or failing. What you can do, some card designs are really bad for GDDR6X memory temps. MSI Ventus is probably the hottest piece of garbage out there with their plastic backplate. Zotac warranty. Okay, we're gonna get to, let's talk about ones that are not transferable. All right, Zotac warranty is not transferable. As far as I could see, gigabyte gigabyte warranty is not transferable. Asus memory, I've heard people talk about transferring it, but everything I've read online tells me it's not. So that's a gray area. I don't know. AMD reference cards, these guys, not transferable. All right. FE cards, not transferable. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, padding between your backplate on 3080s. Okay, so if you get a 3080, right, from somebody, check between the backplate. Some of them, there's like a little gap, like there's a little cutaway on the backplate to allow for, I don't know, air to access the electrical components on the backside or whatnot. If you look in there, see, I don't know if Asus is transferable. I've heard people saying it's transferable, but everything I've read online tells me it's not transferable. So your mileage may vary. I don't know. But I would definitely look at the manufacturer's website and I'm going to sound like every single tech YouTuber right now who's like talking about like a new product and it's like, should you buy it? Well, I can't really give you an answer on that. You've just been watching this and giving me money by your views, but I can't really give you an answer on that. Do your own research and figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, product registration is something also to be concerned about. But I would say for me, if I was to buy an aftermarket card, all right, yeah, Asus memory warranty is hit and miss. A lot have had issues being a second owner despite having the receipt. Asus in general has relied too much on their reputation and has went downhill in regards to customer service and quality control. Yeah. Potentially. I've never had to RMA something, so I can't speak personally, but yeah, I've heard similar stories. And I'm expecting the all inclusive expose coming from Gamers Nexus, their next tech hit job. Um, but yeah, so if I was to get, okay, first let's talk about the 6700 XT because I kind of didn't say why. 6700 XT reference card from AMD has really bad memory cooling, like really bad. I don't know whether it's. I think most of it has to do with that big air gap between the heatsink and this like little dinky plate they have that's covering their memory modules. That air gap probably is the big culprit on why. Um, I may be a little salty towards AMD and the stupidity of their cooling design on the 6700 XT. Just because I applied for a job in that specific thing for AMD and never got a call. And it's like, man, even someone as dumb as me would have seen that as a bad idea. So maybe you got to rethink your hiring process. But no, AIB 6700 XDs probably are fine. Yeah, but some of them, a lot of them, I think are fine. AIBs, but yeah, Gigabyte seems to be kind of a hot mess when it comes to warranty stuff. From what I've heard, I've never tried warrantying with them, but what I do know is that MSI warranty is transferable. If you have an MSI card, you can transfer warranty with that one. But from what I've heard and what I've experienced, the absolute best card, the smoothest process for warranty is EVGA, far and above anyone else I've ever had to deal with. Every story I've heard from anyone, I've actually had to do RMA stuff with EVGA before, and it was just absolutely painless. Product registration, transfer of registration is super easy, and it's a breeze. It's a dream. So if you are a buyer and you're looking to get like a higher end card, again, don't pay more than MSRP. But if somebody's selling an EVGA and somebody else is selling a Gigabyte, I would get that EVGA even if it was 50, 60 bucks more than the Gigabyte, because to me, that extra peace of mind is worth it. Yeah, it's just the reference model 6700 XT, as far as I know, that has that stupid design. I don't know who on their team thought that air gap would be a great way to cool the card. But yeah, obviously someone that doesn't believe in science. But yeah, as a buyer, oh shoot, they're going live on the other channel. So I don't know if I'm going to be in that or not, but I'm going to try and wrap soon, but not actually physically wrap, but wrap this up. But yeah, EVGA, 100% would go with them, even with GDDR6X cards. And I would check your cards, especially the backplate, see like on 3080s if somebody has done the thermal pads there. Usually there will be some grease in there as well from the thermal pads if they've like tried to take them out, or there's like the little EVGA sticker that'll be a little bit broken, which is not an issue. And you'll see if there's been pads there, and to me that's actually a good sign. I'm not going to show you the serial number so you can get another elite account. No. But but I would definitely recommend getting EVGA if you're getting a used card, or getting a reference card from someone you know and trust. Those two I think are probably the best. Assume every card you've gotten is mined on. Just assume it. Also, too, to me, when I have a GDR6X card that I want to mine on, I like putting a water block on it, especially if it's a 3090. If I'm mining on a 3090, having a water block on it gives me peace of mind. I've got like 60 Celsius memory junction temperatures on it, which is like beautiful. And I would I would just if you're buying a GPU and if you can't see it work, check to make sure that the serial number matches the box. That is very good advice. Also, check tamper seals and check the number of power ports. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, some people will take like a cooler from a higher end card and they'll put it on a lower end card and try and sell it. A tutorial for what? Putting the wrong cooler on a card. But yeah, so I would say overall, if you're buying a card, tutorial for water block. Oh yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, there's a tutorial actually on my channel. Tutorial. It's more like a live stream of me putting a water block on, and it's on my channel, so check it out. But yeah, no, I love putting water blocks on, but it's not maybe the most economic thing for people, but yeah, most 3080s, even if they're being mined on, if you do a backplate thermal pad mod, it's actually pretty decent. It's pretty, oh, they do have an anniversary sale during the last. Oh my gosh, I hate you. I am going to spend money on another water block, and I hate you for it. AliExpress is having an anniversary sale during the last week of March. But yeah, I might buy another water block. My wife is looking at me suspiciously right now as I'm talking about buying another water block. Don't worry, honey. I'll put it on yours. I'll put it on your GPU. I promise. Don't hate me. She has a 3092. So yeah, dehydrated seafood. But yeah, I would say if you're buying used, buy only Founders Edition cards from people you trust and if they're a little bit sketchy, definitely make sure serial numbers match on the box and on the cooler, or at least the backplate, and definitely make sure that the warranty is transferable. As far as I know, MSI and EVGA are the only ones that actually have it written that you can transfer it. Asus is kind of hit and miss, so you're rolling the dice with that one. Buying used though, without a warranty, it's, I would say, relatively safe. Any other card that doesn't have GDDR6X RAM is probably going to be not that big of a risk. So yeah, the back pads on there and in your mem junction temps are really nice and low. Although if you're planning on doing a back memory pad mod, avoid gigabyte cards, because to get the backplate off, you actually have to take the entire cooler assembly off. EVGA and MSI, as far as I know, and most Asus, as far as I know, you don't have to do any of that crap. I think Gigabyte is the only one that you actually have to take the whole front cooler off before you can take the backplate off. So if you have a 3080 and you want to do the backplate pad mod, so putting thermal pads between the PCB and the backplate, don't get a Gigabyte because it'll be a pain in the butt because you have to take the whole thing apart. All right. So, repasting and that will not void your warranty on NVIDIA. There's record of them saying that taking the cooler off will not void your warranty. As far as just taking the backplate off of your NVIDIA GPU, your Founders Edition cards, there's actually no way for them to actually tell that you've taken your Founders Edition card backplate off. Especially if you keep your thermal pads and just put them back on, there's no way they'll know from that. But yeah, EVGA is the best to take it off. But yeah, I would say the best looking though is obviously the Founders Edition for NVIDIA, and also the AMD ones. They're both, I think, the best for those two. Yeah, don't use a drill. Don't be a dummy and use a drill. But yeah, so I would highly recommend EVGA for used cards. Assume it's been mined on. Mining, I don't think is really a worry, especially with GDDR6 cards. And if it's a GDDR6X card, so 3070 Ti, 3080, 3080 Ti, 3080 12 gig, 3090, then make sure that you have some sort of warranty, because I wouldn't risk not having a warranty with a GDDR6X card. So I would say that's pretty much the gist of it. If you're buying, don't buy for more than MSRP. Don't be a dingus, because if you buy for more than MSRP, you're just supporting scalpers who are forcing you to buy more than MSRP. And trust me, right now, if you play the waiting game, they are going to lose. So don't pay more than MSRP ever, right? Especially since like new cards are supposed to be coming in the fall. And especially if you can find somebody who you know that's a miner, they're probably looking to unload some cards. And so you can get a nice interim card from a miner who is a decent person. Obviously, there's some dumb miners who bought scalped cards, and so they're going to try and scalp them as well. But there are some nice miners out there who are selling cards for what they paid for or even less. And you can get a nice holdover card from them for, to wait for the next generation, or wait for more cards to come on the market. So, say you get like you get a decent 10 series from them, or 20 series, or 5700 XT or something. And maybe don't get a 5700 XT from a miner, because there's probably a BIOS mod that's been done on it, and it might be a little bit of a tricky deal getting it back to stock BIOS. So, yeah, yeah, you definitely want to be careful with mine cards as well. Just like looking at the get like pictures of the heatsink. A lot of times, especially if miners are looking to unload a ton of cards. Yeah, miners as in people who are mining with their cards, not miners as in like people under 18. All right. But still, don't go meet up with miners either, because that could lead to like a whole other bunch of problems for you. So, depending. So don't do that either. But yeah, if you know like some people who are mining with their cards, especially if they have like a whole array of cards, like I know probably there's a lot of people who are mining who have 20 series cards who are probably going to give them or sell them to you for like a decent price. And you're not going to, have to, put a bunch of risk into that. Check for dust in the thing. I definitely would not recommend buying like big bulk buys from people on Kijiji and stuff like that. Try and get connected with peoples. I would highly recommend the CA Stock Stalker Discord. It's a solid Discord. That's where I met most of these people. That's where I got sort of into this whole thing on this level. And so, yeah, they're a bunch of good people. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up with that. And see you guys next week. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And any strangers, thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, old cards make good hardware transcoders for your Plex servers. True. All right. Good night, guys. Hope it helps. All right. See ya.